a video game's main campaign should be enough to satiate the most casual of players. I mean, the final boss is defeated, the world is saved, the credits roll, end of story. However, there are certain gaming veterans who will not rest until every secret is discovered, every collectible is found, and every side quest has been conquered. I'm Jess from WhatCulture, and here are 10 video games with the best 100% completion rewards. Number 10, all vehicles unlocked. The Simpsons Hit and Run. Although there have been dozens of Simpsons games over the years, The Simpsons Hit and Run may well be the best of the bunch. The GTA 3 inspired title perfectly encapsulates the spirit of Matt Groening's iconic show and accurately represents the town of Springfield. Thanks to the accessible controls, solid driving mechanics, and creative missions, someone unfamiliar with the 30-plus season cartoon should still thoroughly enjoy it. There are plenty of activities to take part in, including winning races, purchasing costumes, and spotting well-hidden gags. If players do find and collect everything the game has to offer, they'll be rewarded with nothing. At least that's what it seems like. But if a cheat code is punched in afterward, all vehicles will be unlocked. Although every vehicle should probably have been purchased by this point, this cheat allows Homer and his family to drive cars, boats, and trucks that were inaccessible in certain levels. Also, each player character can only drive certain vehicles in the main campaign, but with this code, that restriction no longer applies. As such, there's nothing stopping the Simpson family rampaging through their hometown in the Mr. Plow truck, the monorail car, or night boat, the crime-solving boat. Number 9, Shiny Charm, Pokemon Black and White 2, and onward. Gotta catch 'em all, for many Pokemon purists, is not just a slogan, but a command that pressurizes players to nab every single one of the elusive critters. But in the early Pokemon games, all our hero gets for his efforts is a measly certificate and bragging rights. Thankfully though, Pokemon Black and White 2 offers 100%ers something genuinely meaningful. After stuffing every kind of Pokemon in a Pokeball, the protagonist receives a Shiny Charm. Now this triples the chances of encountering a shiny Pokemon. The reception for the charm was so positive, it's become a recurring accolade for catching them all in the franchise. And from Gen 6 onwards, the charm sextuples the chances of finding a shiny. That is not a word I think I've ever said out loud, but it is fun. To put that into perspective, stumbling upon a shiny normally is a ratio of 1 to 8,192. Basically, no rational person would attempt to find every shiny. Bumping into one is unlikely. Bumping into all of them is astronomical. But with the trusty charm in hand, the likelihood of finding a shiny in every installment after Black and White 2 is 1 in 1,365. Basically, having this artifact turns an impossible feat into a feasible task, or at least a slightly less impossible feat. Number 8, the original game, Medieval. After Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon got remastered from the ground up, it was only a matter of time before another PlayStation gem received the same treatment, Medieval. Sure enough, Other Ocean Interactive recreated the goofy hack-and-slash title in 2019 with modern graphics as well as a slew of bonus content. What more could anyone ask for? Well, a decent game would have been nice. The camera wasn't great, but it was somehow even worse in the remake. Although the combat was solid in the original, it was a mess in the new version due to the imprecise controls. The modern incarnation was such a debacle, in fact, that it would have been better if the developers re-released the 1998 version exactly as it was. Fortunately, they did. After laying out all the lost souls to rest and collecting every chalice, the old school version became accessible from the main menu. It opens with the PS1 intro, which is also a really nice touch. Even though the classic graphics are ropey by today's standards, the gameplay hasn't aged a day. Too bad the crappy remake must be beaten before players can get their hands on the real thing, but at least it's there. Number 7, the true ending, Crash Bandicoot. Released back in 1996, Crash Bandicoot instantly proved to be one of the hottest platformers of the year. Naughty Dog's cartoony caper wasn't just a lot of fun, but it offered a monstrous challenge, especially that infuriating Road to Nowhere level. So after being squished, incinerated, devoured, and impaled umpteen times, Crash should breathe a sigh of relief after vanquishing Cortex and rescuing his girlfriend Torna. However, their reunion is cut short by, well, the credits. Considering the ending is only 10 seconds long, it feels insultingly anticlimactic. However, the true ending can be unlocked after finding all the gems and keys. Once these collectibles have been obtained, our crate-bashing heroes should head to the Great Hall, and while there, the collected gems will appear and serve as platforms, allowing Crash to reach Torna and escape Cortex Castle together. The scene's followed by an epilogue which details the fate of all the bosses. The extra ending reveals how the demented Ripperoo wrote a self-help book, Papu Papa opened a plus-size clothing store, and Embryo rekindled his first love, bartending. Finding every gem is absolutely a pain, but at least players get an inventive and hilarious ending for their troubles. Number 6. Green Hill Zone in 3D, Sonic Adventure 2. Sonic Adventure 2 is arguably the best 3D game centered around Sega's beloved mascot, but based on Sonic's recent track record, that's not a particularly high bar. The Dreamcast release title was an absolute treat for Sonic loyalists due to its epic boss fights, diverse level designs, and catchy tunes. Best of all, there are 6 characters to play as, each with their own distinctive abilities. Not only that, Sonic Adventure 2 rewards completionists with a prize that's sure to please classic fans. By collecting all 180 emblems, a 3D version of the first Sonic the Hedgehog level, Green Hill Zone, becomes playable. This level is so ingrained in Genesis owners' minds, it's a real blast from the past to see it recreated in the third dimension. To really sell the nostalgia factor, the original sound effects and music play in the background while Sonic navigates his way around this familiar terrain. Of course, unlocking Green Hill Zone is no picnic, since Sonic and company need to achieve an A ranking on every level and complete a myriad of trivial tasks. However, the payoff is wonderful, especially for veterans of the Sega series. Number 5. 007 Mode, GoldenEye 007. GoldenEye 007 wasn't just revolutionary, it was irrefutable proof that movie tie-in games could be top contenders on the video game circuit. The N64 shooter stood out amongst its peers due to its smooth gameplay, addictive multiplayer, mission-oriented levels, and astounding soundtrack. GoldenEye 007 was brimming with so much content that beating it in its entirety was a daunting accomplishment. However, total completion leads to a great reward. If Bond finishes the main campaign on all 3 difficulties, the martini-swilling agent can play 007 mode. By selecting this option, players can mess around with the enemy's stats on any mission. With a little tinkering, all the baddies can be programmed to die with one hit or have the accuracy of a stormtrooper. By tweaking the reaction speed, every terrorist will move like sloths, allowing Bond to zip through missions with ease. If Britain's top agent fancies a challenge or a death sentence, the enemy's stats can be boosted to the max, turning the most incompetent guard into a damage sponge fiend with the reflexes of Neo. After beating GoldenEye 007 on the hardest mode, it looks like the main campaign is over and done with. But after experiencing 007 mode, it's clear there's still so much more to do. Number 4. The birth of Samus's new nemesis, Metroid Prime. Although Metroid is known for its focus on non-linear gameplay, exploration, and atmosphere, the sci-fi saga also deserves credit for popularizing secret endings. By amassing enough collectibles or completing the main campaign within a certain time, a bonus ending will be unlocked, usually depicting the bounty-hunting heroine Samus Aran without her bulky armor. However, Metroid Prime's true ending made a massive impression due to how cryptic it was. If Samus collects less than 75% of the items, the game concludes with her escaping in her gunship. By collecting between 75 and 99% of items, Samus removes her helmet as she gazes at the titular villain's destroyed lair. This was a pretty cool ending since it was the first time Samus's face had been depicted in 3D. But that's not all. If Samus attained every weapon upgrade and energy tank, a bonus clip plays after the credits, revealing the Metroid Prime is still alive. A hand resembling Samus's bursts from the Prime, signifying the super evolved parasite will return in the form of its enemy. Rather than being a throwaway baddie, Dark Samus became Prime's overarching antagonist and one of the franchise's most recognized adversaries. Though Dark Samus was properly introduced in Metroid Prime 2, anyone who completed Metroid Prime completely knew about Samus's devious doppelganger long before. Number 3. Bureau Uniform, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption is such a beautifully structured game that the average player shouldn't mind taking part in a couple of extracurricular activities, especially the minigames. Locating a safe house or finding a rare weapon may not progress the story, but these side quests are so masterfully designed, it's easy to lose track of the central mission. Having said that, completing Red Dead fully is far from easy. To reach that sweet 100% completion, John Marston must collect every bounty, discover all the map locations, find every hideout, and take part in a dozen other activities. Although beating Red Dead inside and out can take well over 40 hours, it will allow Marston to don the highly coveted Bureau uniform. At a glance, this garb can be mistaken as a superficial cosmetic. However, the Bureau uniform is a game changer, as it allows the gun-toting outlaw to come and go where he pleases without being bothered by the law. Now, that doesn't mean Marston is invincible in his fancy attire, since enemies will still retaliate if they're shot at. Nevertheless, wearing this getup allows Marston to slip into the most hostile regions without breaking a sweat. Number 2. Bigfoot, Grand Theft Auto 5. Due to its abundance of content, beating Grand Theft Auto 5 is sure to take a while. Completing it, on the other hand, takes quite a bit longer than a while. For that 100% completion, Michael, Trevor, and Franklin have to take part in hundreds of tasks, which include finding spaceship parts, playing fetch with a dog, pulling off dozens of stunt jumps, and performing a booty call. Seriously, that's one of the requirements. The deluge of side quests can easily keep our three protagonists busy for countless hours. As a result, only a select few will bother to finish them all, which is why it's reassuring to learn that there is a massive payoff. By completing the game fully, players are gifted with a trophy and a t-shirt with 100% written on it. On top of that, a massive UFO appears in the sky in certain areas if specific requirements are fulfilled. Most importantly, a full completion unlocks a final mission, which involves Franklin hunting down Bigfoot. In the enhanced version of GTA 5, Franklin also gets to play as the Sasquatch and dress in a Teen Wolf-inspired costume. This mission is an obvious nod to the false rumors that a Sasquatch was hidden in GTA San Andreas. Not only is this a hilarious mission in its own right, it highlights how the developers paid attention to what players wanted to see and decided to go ahead and incorporate those ideas into GTA 5. Number 1. Bring peace across the realms. Hades. Supergiant's isometric roguelite centers around Hades' son and the prince of the underworld, Zagreus. Desperate to find his mother, Zag has to go through literal hell to reach the mortal realm. Even if Zagreus defeats Hades and locates his mother, the defiant demigod's journey is far from over. To unlock the proper ending, Zagreus has to defeat the main campaign 8 times. However, completionists shouldn't celebrate at that point, since there's still plenty to do. Although Zagreus rectified matters with his parents, he still needs to make amends with Olympus. To do this, Zag needs to interact with every primary Olympian and bring them specific gifts until his relationship with each reaches its peak. Since Zeus, Ares, Hermes, and the others can only be encountered by chance, fulfilling this odyssey is staggering. However, bearing witness to the true ending makes all of it well worth it. Torn lovers are reunited, family conflicts are reconciled, and rivalries between realms are resolved. As satisfying as it is to watch Hades unburdened from his responsibilities and behaving like a nurturing father to Zagreus for once, it's all the more gratifying since players know they bent over backwards to see it happen.